Hey, what's up? I hope everyone's doing well this Friday. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. I got outside and did a little bit of exercise with the dog, which was really good, and wanted to get together with you guys for just a few minutes and talk about a topic. Not as elaborate as yesterday. Didn't really prepare much, but do have something that I want to talk about, and it is meditation. And why do it and the benefits of meditation. And yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who practice regularly, so this might be all common knowledge for those of you who already have a practice in place, but I thought that I would create this video for some of us who don't or might not really just be familiar with the practice. So there's lots of reasons as to why to do it, right? I mean, there's plenty of scientific material out there that talks about, how it reduces stress, reduces anxiety, it promotes emotional well-being, it helps with improving your attention span. There's some studies that show that it might reduce age-related illnesses and dementia. It improves sleep, right? There's studies that have been shown that it decreases blood pressure. It just has a myriad, right, of benefits for us, and those are all absolutely wonderful reasons why we should practice or have some sort of meditative practice on a daily basis. And when I say meditation, I mean the sense that we're kind of internally focused, because some people might confuse the idea of prayer or intention or focusing with meditation. And while there are some commonalities that exist between those different things, meditation is really about turning inward and trying to slow down the internal dialogue, right? That voice in your head that that is really hard to turn off, right? So, yeah, that's really what the practice of meditation is about. It's about kind of turning inward and taking, a look inside. However, it's not as easy as one might think, right? Alexa, repeat. Sorry, I like my music. Alexa, loop mode.
Loop mode on.
So yeah, it really is about taking a look inside. So the practices, and there are many different ways and aspects to go about doing it, right? There's all kinds of different techniques like transcendental meditation, breath work that you could do. There's specific kind of chakra practices, or there might be light body work that people might be familiar with. The list goes on and on and on, and they all carry benefits, right? They all have positive benefits that can impact your life, right? Especially now, in the sense that times are really difficult for people, and people are really stressed out, right? And there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of worry, and there's a lot of loss and transition and upheaval and change that's taking place in the world. And because of that, it's a powerful thing to disconnect from the everyday incessant, I'll say noise, right? And by noise, I mean kind of this distortion that's happening outside of us. And in doing so, align to it, because it's all that we're feeding ourselves, and breaking away and stepping away for a few moments, whether that be half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you do, can help with resetting yourself. It can help with clearing some of those negative thoughts that we're absorbing and that we're thinking, and that we in turn kind of give back to the world because it's what we're experiencing. That in and of itself can be really powerful. It can be a healing practice, right? So just wanted to kind of talk a little bit more in depth about kind of what I think the primary benefit, and that's an unfair thing to say, right? But for me, it really is an opportunity to increase your self-awareness, right? So getting into a meditative state and relaxing and being able to slow down your mind allows you to start to feel and become aware of a lot of internal processes that are going on, right? It connects you more to the physical sensation of being. And what I mean by that is that you heighten your awareness as far as how your body feels and all of the existing kind of processes that are happening inside of you, right? So with practice, you feel your heartbeat, you feel your digestive system, you feel your circulatory system, you feel your respiratory system, your mind starts to calm down and you start to really become aware of your nervous system and all of these, small subtle sensations that are taking place all over your body. And what that does is it reconnects you with the nature of being, the sense of being alive, right? This internal, whatever it is that is powering us internally, right? That gives us this gift of life. And having that connection, right? Developing and strengthening that connection empowers us in a way that improves the quality of our life holistically, from a health perspective, from a mental health perspective, from a communications perspective. It really strengthens our connection to what it is that we really are, right? And it allows it to shine through. I think that in the sense of taking that internal awareness, as we continue to develop it, we become more aware of these kind of extraordinary gifts that we have, in the sense of really being able to control the way that we transition from one emotional state to the next. It gives us more strength or capability in order to control the way that we think about things and how often we might be thinking about something destructive and slowly transition away from those destructive thoughts to ones that are positive or ones that are kind or ones that are loving. And at the end of the day, right, it really does make a difference from the perspective of who we are as a being and how we decide to present ourselves and present our thoughts and present our being, right? For all intents and purposes, our being, how we present ourselves. So that's been a kind of motivating thing for me, right? That's been a motivating force for me. So how do you do it? And what are some easy, simple ways to get started? I don't think that there's one right or wrong way, right? And there's so many different approaches to the idea of being in a meditative state, right? And they're all beneficial. So I'll give a couple of examples, but whatever works for you is what you should do, right? Whatever you feel comfortable doing is what you should do. A lot of practices ask that you sit up straight. The idea is that if you straighten out, or if your nervous system, if your spine, right, is kind of in a vertical position, it allows for an easier flow of sensory perception to travel throughout your nervous system, throughout all the limbs of your body. That's one of the things that they recommend do. That's recommended be done, right? However, if it's uncomfortable for you and you find that you aren't at a place in your practice where you can comfortably hold that position, find a position that's comfortable for you, right? Don't let any of the kind of recommendations related to a practice be such an obstacle that you decide not to practice, right? That you decide not to take a few minutes to quiet down, that you decide not to take a few minutes for that, internal reflection. Do what is comfortable for you. I've known some people, in the morning when they wake up, before they get out of the bed, they're laying in bed, they're wide awake, right? So their mind is, beginning to engage in the process of participating in the day, and it's, starting to open up, and they spend 10 minutes in their bed in the morning just quietly meditating, right? Feeling their body, becoming aware of their breathing, and focusing on the intention that they want to have for the day, right? Visualizing. So let me get back to the point. So being in a comfortable position, if you can sit upright, that's great. You can use a chair. You can use something like something like one of these guys, right? Which is a little, they call it a Zafu, but it's just a meditation pillow. And what it does is it elevates your hips a little higher than your knees, so that there's blood flow going down, and that it also kind of positions your hips and your lower back so that you can sit upright more comfortably. So I would say that focusing on your breathing is really, really key. There's a lot of there's a lot of material that talk about certain energy centers that exist within your body. And if you're interested in pursuing that, there's plenty of material that you can go out and read about chakras and all this other stuff. But just becoming aware of your breathing in and of itself is enough. And having a consistent pattern to your breathing is a way to kind of slowly move into a more relaxed and calm state, right? So I mentioned this before, but that might look like 2 seconds inhale, pause, 2 seconds exhale, pause, 2 seconds inhale, pause, and continuing that loop. So that's definitely one way, and then there's other things, right? Is kind of actually being aware of all of the thoughts that are coming up in your head when you're trying to relax. So what that does is it removes you from the consumption of your thought. And what I mean by that is if you're paying attention to the thoughts that are taking place in your mind, you're no longer associated as the entity of those thoughts. Meaning, you're not completely identified with the fact that, hey, this is what I'm thinking and that's all I'm thinking about. In observing them, you're separating yourself and taking a look at the rise of those thoughts internally from a second person perspective, or perhaps even a third person perspective, right? If you're experiencing yourself going through this meditation and then paying attention to the thoughts that are coming up while you're in that meditation. In doing so, you've created a space between yourself and this habituated way of existence that allows you to view it outside of the normal experiencing it mode, right? So that's a really powerful practice, and what it does is it helps you disidentify with this traditional way of being, and you start to recognize or suddenly feel, right, or suddenly become more attuned to the idea of this witnessing presence that's actually observing what's happening within you. So that's a step in a spiritual direction, but it's also a meditative practice to observe kind of the thoughts that are coming up. When doing so, one of the things that I like to do is I like to imagine that those thoughts are evaporating, or they're balloons are being tied to them and they're floating away, or they're being washed away by rain or something. Anything that tricks your mind into thinking it's okay to let these thoughts subside. And as they're subsiding, with time, you'll notice that the frequency of those thoughts will begin to slow and slow and slow until they're almost absent. And that is kind of one of the measures of progress that you might be able to use as kind of direction to realize, how far along this path am I getting? Am I developing? Am I improving in my meditative practice? Am I getting better at it? And with time, you do get better at it. And there's so many benefits to that, in the sense of, being able to focus your intention and focus your emotion for long periods of time that have this unbelievable benefit to life, right? Concentration, communication, compassion, all of these ideals that we have as aspirations to live a better life and to kind of make more of a contribution are all enhanced by and through these practices. So, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, try it. Try it in whatever way means well for you. This is, the other thing that's probably really important to say is that meditation isn't. It doesn't necessarily compete for your spiritual beliefs or anything like that. It doesn't have to. It's something that can work in conjunction with your faith, right? With your practice of faith, and enhance it a great deal, because I feel that it takes us one step closer to kind of knowing and connecting with our faith and our beliefs in the higher power or what have you. So a lot of people have probably been reluctant just because they feel like it's competing in a way with their beliefs, and I would argue that. I would say that meditation is a practice that can be kind of compared to exercise, or that can be compared to kind of any activity that might enhance us as beings, and in doing so, I think meditation is probably far more powerful in that not only it enhances us, but it also enhances kind of everything that we are focusing on, everything that we commit to. If you look at some of the Olympic coaches who use these practices of visualization and meditation to improve athletic performance as it related to the athletes that they were coaching. So there's all kinds of wonderful gifts and benefits that come from the practice or a meditative practice, right? Cool. I think that's it. I think that's what I wanted to share today, in hopes that it might spark some interest in some of you to find some time to get quiet. One other thing that's really cool and helpful: set a space. In setting a space, it's just kind of finding a quiet place where you'll be undisturbed, and use anything that makes you feel more calm and relaxed. Right, so if that might be some, burning some essential oils like lavender or something like that, that would be really, really good. If, you have kind of favorite, aromatic that you like, or you burn incense, that's cool. If you feel like, reading your Bible is a great way to get relaxed and it puts you in a calm state before doing so, do that. I would recommend that, don't. It's easier to get into a deeper state, a more relaxed and calm state, physiologically in your mind, if you do it before you eat. Having a heavy stomach has like these digestive processes that are taking place, and meditating while you're doing that might distract your ability to really get to a deeper state. So if you could do it before you eat, that's ideal. Music is a beautiful way of doing it. There's a lot that's coming out lately about the idea of binaural beats and how music kind of enhances the experience, or can get us into different states of being. So yeah, music is a really great way to get there. What else? What else am I missing? Oh yeah, and just setting a space, right? Like like making sure that whatever space that you're in makes you feel at ease and comfortable, and that you'll have whatever dedicated amount of time that you'll have for this without interruption is also important too. All right, cool. This has been going on for a little longer than I expected it to, but I hope it was beneficial. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Right now, it's a great time to do it because there's so much going on in the world, and it's a really good time to do it. The other thing that's probably important to mention is if you're interested, there's a bunch of kind of worldwide meditations that are going on, and you can find them all over the place. They're all over Facebook and all over IG and everything. But if you can't find one, reach out to me, let me know. I can certainly point you in the direction. And it's a really powerful thing in the sense that when people are all coming together and doing it at one point in time or together in unison, that just amplifies the effects of how deep you can get and how kind of relaxed you can get, as well as the intention and the contribution that we're giving back to kind of humanity and the earth when we come together and do that. So cool. Listen, I love you guys. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Keep your family safe, keep yourself safe. Reach out to me if I can be of service in any way whatsoever. And I hope you guys are well. Love you. Take care.